One of the first things that I like to see done is a pad put on top of the dining room table so that as you're packing, you don't take any chances of scratching up the table. I think it looks real good. I think it's a nice start when you're in with the homeowner, and a good way to make a nice first impression. We're going to start by making the box, which seems pretty basic, but there's a little bit to it, especially since this is a dish pack. I like to see usually 3 pieces of tape across the bottom if you do it that way. And some people do the edges. I don't particularly think that it's absolutely necessary, but it certainly can be done. A lot of times these flaps, if you want, you can fold the box with the flaps down, and sometimes they'll stay, but dish packs a lot of times are just such a rigid box that it won't stay. It'll break the tabs. A lot of times when I'm packing, I'll take the roll of tape then and put it back on the corner so it tilts the box forward a little bit so you don't have to worry about the dishes falling to one side or another. We never use cell packs. A lot of people do. I feel that they just kind of take up space, and I think you can do just as well a job without the cell pack. So he's starting with some plates, and usually if you're going to do 3, 4 plates, kind of depends on how big they are. I think usually around 3 or 4 is where you go with them, especially if they're all the same. Then generally finishing up with 2 or 3 sheets, folding each side, then flipping it, and then you've got a little tail there. The dishes then go on end, and you're good to go. You don't mix up the plates. You want to put the same size ones together, so you wouldn't put 2 plates and then a bowl. You're messing up the integrity. Now he's going to do some bowls. And same thing, 2 or 3, usually a couple sheets in between. Sometimes people put 3, whatever you feel comfortable with. So something like that, when you see it and you're packing, you need to set it off to the side and go get the customer and tell them, hey, we got a chip in this plate. Or if the shipper is not around and they're off at closing or whatever, if you're going to pack it, then write on it. Just put broken, damaged, prior, or something like that, so that when it gets unpacked, they're going to know. Then, there's your getting your first layer completely started, right? So you want the first layer nice and tight. Then you take some paper, kind of fill up any holes there are, and start your second layer. Pack your paper on down there. You can get more in it, and that's why we don't use the cells. All right, now Randy's going to take and get some of the stemware, move it over, pack it on top of the plates and dishes that are in the bottom of the dish pack. And the reason being is you put the heavy stuff at the bottom and the lighter stuff up at the top. And he's going to wrap them in a sheet or 2 of tissue, do the same thing, then move them over to the paper. Keep it fluffy, puffy packing, Puff Daddy packing. He's putting them in the dish pack with the face down, stem up, usually is the way to go. But the main thing is to make them nice and fluffy so they don't have a ton of pressure on them. And then he'll finish that off, have a little bit of space on top of the box, and we'll find some small items to go on top of the box. If we don't, we'll roll up paper and put it in there. So he's just going to fill the top up with loose paper, and that's fine. Same thing, you don't want to get it too jam-packed. You got to make it nice and tight, but the box has a lot of rigidity to it. So you just get it nice and snug. Same thing, seal it all up, and then mark it. So he's going to mark it, whatever, China, Crystal, Hutch, dining room, something along that line, so it easily identifies it for the customer. Do it on both sides. That way, you know, if you're using a box dolly, you can see it when they're stacked two on top, and same thing, if you got a medium on top of that, then you know what room they're going to go to, and if you're breaking it down in the load, it's obviously you're going to put kitchen, dining room together. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. Randy's making up the box right now. He's using a dish pack, and then we're going to pack some of the taller items, and this could be lamps, could be statue, could be a vase, any of those kinds of things. Same thing, he's going to put it in a paper pad. These paper pads are about 72 by 80, they're pretty large. Wrap it around, maybe do a roll with it. Fold the edges pretty much the same way we're doing the plates. It's just a bigger version, and it's a little more dainty because sometimes they can have odd pieces. Now he's going to take a lamp, and this is a small lamp, and pack it in the same carton with the statue. Be careful, gentle, get your helper in the picture. Fold the paper pad over, roll it up, and be ready to go. Fill it up maybe with some statues, something long. You could probably, depending on what you can find in the home, those are small, they'd probably go in paper. You just have to use more of the paper and do it more times.